I came back home for my 25th birthday expecting dinner with my family. My dad stared at me and said, "Don't make this about you, your brother's future matters more." I smiled, went to my room, and made a choice that night. Years later, they found out who I became, and it broke them. My family threw a party on my 25th birthday, but it wasn't for me. That night, standing invisible in a crowded room, I realized something had to shatter if I was ever going to truly live. I'd always been the steady one, the quiet rock in my family. I'm Liam. Never caused problems, just handled things. My younger brother, Noah, was the complete opposite, pure chaos, and my parents loved him for it. His wildness was passion, my quiet strength was just expected. No praise, no acknowledgement, just an assumption I'd always be there, lighting their path, while they cheered for his fireworks. My 25th birthday was supposed to be simple. I'd asked for nothing more than a quiet dinner at home. I'd been working full-time in another city, hustling in an entry-level job after college, and money was tight. But I missed them. Despite years of favoritism, I thought, just maybe, this time would be different. I'd called Mom 2 weeks prior. She sounded distracted but said, yeah, we'll do something. Red flag, I know, but hope dies hard. I pulled into our old driveway, bone-tired from the 4-hour drive, and saw a cluster of unfamiliar cars. Laughter spilled from the windows. I imagined a surprise party, maybe they'd finally gone out of their way for me. But the second I stepped inside, my gut twisted. The living room was packed, balloons everywhere, but they weren't for me. A giant banner screamed, "Congrats, Noah!" My brother stood by the fireplace in a slick new jacket, beaming, as people clapped. I froze in the doorway, luggage still in hand. "Oh, hey!" Mom brushed past me, carrying drinks. "Glad you made it. Just put your things down. We're about to do speeches." Speeches? I finally spotted Dad, raising a glass. "Tonight's about celebrating Noah's next big chapter," he announced, a wide grin plastered across his face. "He's finally starting that music production business we've all been hearing about." The room erupted. My heart hammered. My birthday, completely forgotten. Not a single happy birthday, not even a glance. I waited for someone to acknowledge it, but all I got was Noah slapping my back with that crooked smirk he always wore when he knew he'd won. "Sup, man. Guess this party can double as your birthday, too, right?" He laughed, already walking away. I swallowed the bitter lump in my throat. I didn't say anything. I just walked past the crowd, dodging old neighbors and distant cousins, and made my way to the kitchen. No cake, no candles, not even a card. There was a half-empty pizza box and some appetizers. I picked a piece of bread, pretending I wasn't shaking with disappointment. Later, when things calmed down, I finally confronted Dad. Not angrily, just quietly. "Did you forget what today is?" He looked confused, then blinked like a painful memory had just resurfaced. "Oh, right. Your birthday." That was it. No apology, no shame. Just 3 words. I stared, hoping he'd follow it up with something, anything. Instead, he leaned back, crossed his arms, and said something that would change the way I saw him forever. "Don't make this about you, Liam. Your brother's future matters more right now." I didn't respond out loud. I just nodded, turned, and went upstairs to my old room, the one with dusty middle school trophies in the corner. I sat on the bed for a long time, jaw clenched. I thought about all the times I'd been overlooked, the brushed-aside birthdays, the barely acknowledged college acceptance, the job I'd landed on my own. That night, I didn't cry or rage. I just decided something deep in my bones. I was done trying to earn their approval. Done being the quiet one, the dependable one, the footnote in Noah's story. From now on, I was writing my own. And I wasn't telling them a word. The next morning, Noah's music blasted downstairs. My head throbbed, not from alcohol, but exhaustion. I'd barely slept. Dad's words replayed like a broken record. Don't make this about you. Your brother's future matters more. It felt like a slap that didn't sting at first but swelled with every thought. I sat up, staring at the faded movie posters on my wall. I used to dream in that room, big dreams of independence, my own business. But in this house, only Noah was allowed to dream out loud. Everyone else just kept things running while he found himself. I walked downstairs to find Noah on the couch, shoes on Mom's coffee table, scrolling his phone, humming to some rap. Yo, he said without looking up. Dad said we're doing lunch at that new place downtown. You coming? I blinked. For my birthday? He smirked, eyes still on the screen. Nah, man. He wants to celebrate locking in that investor. Dude's putting like 10 grand up front. Investor. That word hit me hard. During my last year of college, I'd pitched a detailed business plan for a digital design agency. I'd asked them for a 5 grand loan, with a full repayment plan. They told me it was too risky, that I should climb the corporate ladder instead of chasing pipe dreams. And now, they were throwing $10,000 at Noah for a basement music studio. Something in my chest tightened. I just nodded, walked out to the porch, and gulped in air. The months that followed were worse. Back in my small apartment, I buried myself in work. I didn't call, didn't visit. The silence from their end was deafening. Not a single text. Until they needed something. Mid-April, Mom called, her voice syrupy sweet. Liam, sweetheart, do you think you could help Noah with his taxes? He's having trouble, and you're always so good with numbers. I should have hung up. But part of me still wanted to be the useful son. So I agreed. The next weekend, I sat at Noah's cluttered desk in Dad's old office, sorting through a shoebox of receipts while Noah played Call of Duty. He barely said thanks. Later. Dad patted my back. That's what brothers are for, right? That same night, I overheard a conversation that burned itself into my memory. They thought I'd left to get something from my car, but the kitchen window was cracked. Dad, Mom, and Noah, laughing. Then Mom said, you know, I honestly think Liam's the kind of guy who'll just keep going no matter how we treat him. He doesn't need much. Dad chuckled. That's what I've always said. He's solid. Noah's the one we got to keep encouraging. He's got the real talent, the vision. Noah snorted. Liam's basically a calculator in pants. They all laughed. I stood there, hand on the car door, the other clenching into a fist so tight it left crescent marks on my palm. I didn't go back inside. I drove straight back to my apartment. That was the moment. The fragile thread holding me to them, that tiny hope things might change, snapped clean. I stopped replying to calls, blocked group chats. I didn't even go back for Christmas. My phone buzzed that morning. We're doing dinner at 6 o'clock if you change your mind, and don't be dramatic, Liam. I spent the day alone, a frozen lasagna in the oven, watching snowfall. For the first time in years, I didn't feel lonely. I felt free. They didn't take the hint. 2 months later, a wedding invitation arrived. Noah was marrying Chloe. I'd met her briefly, she seemed sweet. What floored me wasn't the wedding, but that the invitation had no +1, and my name was printed wrong. Liam Jensen with an K. No note, just a generic invite, like I was some distant obligation. I almost threw it out, but I kept it. Around that time, I'd started a freelance side hustle, building websites for small businesses. I was good at it. Word spread. Projects piled up. I was still at my full-time job, but my side hustle was soon out-earning it. I poured myself in, learned SEO, marketing funnels, designed software. I worked like crazy, and I never told my family a word. Meanwhile, Noah's music studio was bleeding money. I knew because he accidentally posted an Instagram story showing his equipment listed for resale, captioned, "Sucks when dreams cost more than they earn." He deleted it, but I saw it. I didn't feel bad. Not long after, Mom called again. "Hey, sweetie," she started, fake casual. "So, about Noah's wedding, we're thinking you might be willing to help out a little financially. It would mean a lot." I let the silence stretch. Why would I do that? She was caught off guard. "Well, because you're doing pretty well, right? Noah's been struggling, and Chloe's parents aren't contributing much. And you want me to foot the bill?" "Not all of it, honey. Just a few things. Maybe the venue deposit or the DJ. You know, Noah's always been more of a creative than a numbers person." I laughed, a real laugh, for the first time in months. "You do realize this is the first time you've called me in 5 months, right?" "Liam, don't be petty." I almost lost it. "Petty? You forgot my birthday, funded Noah's fake business, mocked me behind my back, and now you want money because you think I'm doing well? You think I owe him something?" "You're his brother," she said flatly. "Family helps each other." I ended the call. That's when I started planning. It wasn't revenge yet, but preparation. I was done reacting. From now on, I'd be 10 steps ahead. I documented everything: old texts, voicemails, emails. Screenshots of Noah's posts, Mom's requests, Dad's dismissive one-liners. Even that incorrect wedding invitation. Everything. Something told me they weren't done yet. And I was right. 2 weeks before the wedding, Noah called. "Yo," he said, "so, Mom told me you were being kind of a tightwad about the wedding. What's the deal?" I didn't say anything. "Look, man, I know we don't always see eye to eye, but I really thought you'd step up. Chloe's stressed. We're short on funds, and you're just sitting there stacking cash. You don't know anything about my life," I said. He scoffed. "You're the one who ghosted the family. Maybe if you hadn't cut everyone off, you wouldn't feel so left out now." Left out. As if I hadn't been pushed aside since we were kids. As if this whole pattern wasn't a lifetime in the making. "I'll come to your wedding," I said, my voice calm. "Wait, seriously?" He sounded genuinely surprised. "Yeah, I'll be there." In that moment, I knew exactly what I was going to do. But I wasn't ready yet. They still had more damage to cause and one more betrayal to deliver. And when it came, I wasn't surprised, but they sure were. I didn't sleep the night I told Noah I'd come. The smugness in his voice made my skin crawl. It wasn't relief, but assumption. He assumed I'd fall back into place, play support, cut a check, then fade into the background. Not this time. Still, I wasn't ready for what came next. About a week before the wedding, Mom called. I debated answering, but picked up, curious. Her voice was clipped, oddly formal. "There's been a change," she said. I waited. "Chloe's parents are worried the guest list is getting too long, so we've had to make some adjustments." Adjustments? I knew what was coming. "You're still invited, of course, but we're going to have you sit at one of the outside tables just for dinner. It's a space thing." "Outside," I repeated, deadpan. "It'll be nice. Umbrella shading, open air. It's June, and honestly, we figured you wouldn't mind. You're not very social." Not social. I closed my eyes, breathing through my nose. That's what I was to them now. An awkward placeholder to tuck away. "Sure," I said. "That's fine." But it wasn't fine. Not even close. 3 hours later, my old college roommate, Alex, messaged me. "Yo, weird question. Are you going to Noah Jensen's wedding next weekend?" I blinked. How did he know? He sent a screenshot. Chloe had posted the full wedding party lineup on Facebook. Every groomsman, bridesmaid, even distant cousins, tagged in glowing captions. My name wasn't there. But Alex's was. He hadn't spoken to Noah in years. Wait, I typed. You're a groomsman? He replied, I guess. Chloe called me, said Noah wanted old friends involved. I thought you were best man or something. I stared at the message. I wasn't just being sidelined. I was being replaced. I didn't respond to Alex. I didn't say a word to my family. I just stared at my bedroom ceiling that night, with one overwhelming realization: I wasn't their son. I was their tool. And like every tool, they only pulled me out when they needed something fixed. That night, something broke in me. Not dramatic, no tears, no slammed doors, just a quiet unraveling. Like the last frayed thread holding me to the version of myself that kept trying to be enough for them finally snapped. The next morning, I called out of work for the first time in a year. I stayed home, curled on the couch, not moving for hours. Meals skipped, dishes piled up, emails went unanswered. Calls ignored. Deadlines slipped. The work that once fueled me felt meaningless. The business I'd built on. The side? I stopped opening client messages. I couldn't focus, couldn't create. I'd hit rock bottom. And no one noticed. Not my parents, not Noah, not even my colleagues. Everyone had their own things going on. I had trained people to think I was invincible, quietly capable, always handling it. So when I started falling apart, nobody came looking. Days turned into a week, then 2. I was behind on rent. My fridge was empty. I lived off crackers. My landlord left a note about missed payments. I couldn't even bring myself to care. I felt like a ghost. Until one night, around 2 a.m., I got a text from someone unexpected. It was Chloe. Hey, can we talk? I stared at it. Her tone didn't match the curated version of herself I'd seen online. I finally replied, sure, what? She called right away. Her voice was low, anxious. I know this is out of the blue, she said. And I'm sorry, but I need to tell you something. She hesitated. Noah told me you offered to pay for part of the wedding. That you were helping with the venue, the DJ, and even some of the catering. I sat up. What? That's not true. Absolutely not. A pause, then a sigh. I knew something was off. He said you insisted on keeping it anonymous because you didn't want attention, but it didn't add up. Of course he did. Using my silence as a blank check, playing the generous brother card to look good. Chloe continued, her voice cracking. I'm sorry, Liam. I really thought he was just scattered, but now I'm starting to think I don't know him at all. I didn't know what to say. Part of me felt vindicated. The other part just felt sad. For her, and for myself. Why are you telling me this? I asked quietly. Because you deserve to know. And because if I were you, I'd want someone to say it out loud. We talked for over an hour. She told me things I hadn't known. How Noah lied about his business. How he borrowed money from her parents, promising to invest it, then bought studio lights he never unboxed. How he mocked people who worked boring desk jobs yet couldn't pay his credit card bills. He said you were bitter, she admitted. That you'd always been jealous of him, that you tried to compete but couldn't keep up. I laughed, not because it was funny, but familiar. Of course, that was his story. Liam, the cold, calculating killjoy. Noah, the free spirit, unfairly burdened by a boring older brother. Thank you for telling me, I said. She paused. Are you still coming to the wedding? I haven't decided yet. Another pause. If you do come, please don't bring a gift. That made me chuckle. You're the first person to say that to me. We ended the call on good terms. For the first time in weeks, I felt something crack through the fog I'd been living in. Not hope, not yet, but direction. That night, I made a list. Not a revenge plan, not yet. Just a list of everything I needed to do to get myself back. Reopen client messages. Clear backlog. Get rent current. Start saving. Register the business officially. Build a portfolio website. Apply for that accelerator program. It didn't all happen at once. It was brutal at first. My motivation came in fits and starts. Some days I still sat in silence. But every day, I crossed off at least one thing. I started setting timers, 30 minutes of focus, then rest, repeat. Clients came back. I launched my site, built case studies, branded my service. Within a month, I had 3 retainer clients paying more than I'd ever made. I paid off my rent. Replaced my broken laptop. All of it, without a word to my family. They had no idea who I was becoming. But soon they would. Because I had one last thing on that list. And it involved showing up to the wedding, not as the forgotten brother, but as someone they never saw coming. And the best part? They still hadn't delivered the final betrayal yet. But it was coming. And when it did, I was ready. I didn't RSVP to the wedding. Deliberate. Not out of spite or laziness. I wanted them to wonder, to guess, to talk about it. I wanted them to feel my absence before I ever stepped into the room. And trust me, they did. I heard through an old neighbor, Mrs. Henderson, that my mom was mildly panicking the week before. I'd run into Mrs. Henderson at the post office, she'd been invited and assumed I had too. They kept asking if you were coming, she said, fanning herself with a coupon flyer. Your mother told the florist you were too busy with tech stuff to help, but she looked like she'd eaten sour lemons. I smiled politely, savoring every word. The truth was, I had been very busy. In the last month, I'd quietly built something no one in my family knew existed. My freelance design hustle had become a legitimate company, Jensen Creative Company, with an LLC, bank account, brand identity, and more clients than I could handle. I'd even brought on 2 subcontractors. We were small, lean, and fast. The kind of operation Noah pretended to run. Only mine actually paid people. I didn't stop there. I invested aggressively. Courses, SEO tools, sponsored posts. My business Instagram gained traction. So did my LinkedIn. A few viral tweets brought traffic to my new website, and I started getting cold inquiries from actual startups. I was riding the wave, but I hadn't forgotten. Not even close. While they prepared for a wedding, I prepared for a performance. This wasn't petty revenge. I wasn't going to throw a fit or make a dramatic speech. That wasn't my style. No, this was slower, sharper, more surgical. So, I started gathering pieces. First, I called Chloe again. Carefully. Has Noah told you how he's been funding the last few weeks? I asked, casual as I could. Chloe hesitated. He said he got a loan from a friend. I almost laughed. You believe that? No, she admitted quietly. But at this point, I'm trying not to question every lie. She sounded tired, defeated. My chest ached for her. She didn't deserve this. Something told me she knew it was wrong but felt too deep to pull back. Did he mention my name in relation to the finances? I asked carefully. Another pause. He said you were one of the donors for the venue, that you wanted to be anonymous, but he'd make sure to honor you in his speech. I rolled my eyes so hard I gave myself a headache. He's lying again, I said. I haven't given a dime. Silence. That was the first seed. Over the next week, I did what I do best, research. Quiet, invisible, focused research. I pulled up Noah's old studio website. Barely functional. No portfolio, no booking system, just a few photos taken in one sitting to fake multiple sessions. I ran the domain through WHOIS and found it was about to expire. He hadn't even set it to auto-renew. Amateur. Next, his public LinkedIn. It said he was CEO of EJ Productions LLC. A quick search of the business registry? No such company existed. Not in our state. Not in neighboring ones. He hadn't even registered a DBA. Then the client testimonials, clearly fake. I reverse image searched the profile photos. Stock photos, every single one. He was building his dream on cardboard. I collected it all. Screenshots, PDFs, archive links. I saved his Instagram stories in case he deleted them. Posts where he bragged about clients he never had. Comments implying I was bankrolling the dream. Everything went into a folder titled For Later. But I wasn't just planning to expose him. I wanted to overshadow him. So, I pulled the ultimate move. I bought a booth. Noah had bragged for months about how his wedding would launch his brand. He planned a promo table at the reception for EJ Productions. Business cards, QR codes, a slideshow. I knew because Chloe had mentioned it with a sigh. He thinks people will book him just because they like the cake. So, I made a call. Years back, one of my design professors became director at a local entrepreneurship expo. It happened every July. Tons of investors, business owners, startups, press. I'd never had time to go. This year, I made time. I told him I was ready to show off my business. He remembered me, liked me. Best of all, a premium booth had just become available. Expensive, but I could afford it now. And here's the best part, the expo was the day before Noah's wedding. Same city, same people. Many family friends attending the wedding would also attend the expo. Dad had already bragged on Facebook about Noah's network growing because of events like it. I had a plan. I'd show up at the expo with a sleek, minimalistic booth, matte black backdrop, crisp typography, a looping video of my portfolio, clean print materials, and a team of 2 helping me. All branded under Jensen Creative Company. No loud logos, no fake testimonials, no borrowed money, just results. I even designed a brochure specifically for the event featuring real client results, case studies, and a page titled Our Founder's Journey. It included a short blurb. After years of building in silence, Liam Jensen turned his frustration with corporate creative bottlenecks into a thriving, agile brand studio focused on elegant design and real-world results. That was the only time I mentioned myself. Let them connect the dots. Let them realize I wasn't the brother helping with invoices anymore. I was the one signing them. With every day closer to the wedding, I got stronger. I was sleeping again, eating right, working out. My confidence was sharper, my posture straighter. I walked into rooms like I belonged there, because now I did. A week before the wedding, I finally unblocked my parents. Just long enough to let their texts come in. Mom, looking forward to seeing you at the ceremony, Liam. Let us know if you're bringing anyone. Dad, you'll love the venue. Noah's really pulling something impressive together. Might even be some networking for you, too. I almost laughed. Noah, bring your business cards. People are going to be asking what you're up to. They had no idea. Chloe texted me the day before the wedding. Just one message, if you're coming tomorrow, wear something sharp. I have a feeling people are going to be looking at you differently. I replied, they already are. Then I set my alarm for 6 a.m., ironed my suit, packed my expo kit, and got ready to become someone they'd never overlook again. But what none of us knew yet was that the wedding wasn't going to go as planned. Because Noah was about to make one last desperate move, and it would change everything. The morning of the wedding, I woke up before my alarm. Not from nerves, but from focus. That sharp, electric calm you feel when everything is in place, when the work is done, the pieces are lined up, and all that's left is to step into the moment you've built. I put on the same tailored navy suit I'd worn at the expo the day before, still crisp from yesterday's success. The booth had gone better than I'd imagined. I'd printed 200 brochures, all gone within hours. For different business owners had asked for meetings. One wanted to book a full rebrand. But none of that compared to what happened. Around noon, I was walking back from the lunch stand when I heard my name. Liam. I turned and found myself face to face with two familiar people, Mr. and Mrs. Miller, old family friends. I hadn't seen them in years. Your booth was fantastic, Mrs. Miller said, smiling. We just spoke to your partner. What you've built, it's remarkable. I blinked. Partner? She gestured behind me. I turned, and there stood Chloe. Wearing jeans, a plain t-shirt, no makeup. Just her. Calm, collected, real. We locked eyes, and I knew she wasn't marrying Noah. I excused myself and walked over. She spoke first. He lied again. About the venue, about the funding. About everything. My heart thudded. Did something happen? She nodded. Last night he asked me to sign something, a joint account agreement. Said it was just to help with day of logistics. But I read the fine print. I didn't speak, just listened. He was trying to get access to my inheritance. The money my grandmother left me. Told me it'd go right back into our future. She gave a dry, bitter laugh. I told him no. He blew up. Said I was sabotaging him. That I was just like you. That made me pause. Like me? He said you were jealous. Bitter. Trying to ruin him ever since high school. I asked what he meant, and he just spiraled. Called you a parasite. Said your tech startup was a joke. I raised an eyebrow. Did you tell him you were at my booth? She smiled faintly. Didn't get the chance. I packed my bags, left the ring on the counter, and walked out before dawn. There was a long silence. And then I said, "Do you still want to go to the wedding?" She laughed. Only if I get to sit next to you. We showed up at 4 p.m. sharp. The venue was an upscale estate with a massive fountain, rented white folding chairs, and a live band. Guests milled around, sipping champagne. It was picture perfect, except there was no bride. I spotted Mom and Dad first. Mom was pacing furiously near the bridal tent. Dad whispered into his phone like it was a bomb detonator. Then Noah emerged, hair slicked back, face red, tux wrinkled with sweat. He froze when he saw us. His eyes landed on Chloe, wide with disbelief. "You have got to be kidding me," he muttered, storming over. "You brought him." Chloe stayed composed. "No, Noah. I came with him." "You're welcome." He turned to me, venom in his voice. "What the hell did you say to her?" I didn't blink. "Nothing you didn't already prove on your own." He tried to laugh it off, looking around. "You think this changes anything? Everyone's still here for me. They don't care about your little app or whatever it is you're doing." I shrugged. "That's fine. I didn't come here for attention." Chloe crossed her arms. "Then you won't mind if I make an announcement, right?" Before Noah could react, she stepped onto the small raised stage near the fountain, picked up the mic, and tapped it. The room went still. Hi everyone. I just wanted to let you all know that there won't be a wedding today, and that's okay. Plans change. People change. And sometimes you find out things about someone that make it very clear they're not your future. A stunned silence fell over the guests. Chloe continued, voice steady. I wish Noah the best, I really do, but I won't be marrying someone who lies to me, manipulates my finances, or disrespects his family. And I especially won't marry someone who spent years tearing down his own brother just to feel taller. All heads turned to me. I stood still. Calm. Let them look. And then Chloe said the final line. Oh, and by the way, if any of you are looking for an actual business to support, check out Jensen Creative Company. They had a booth at the Startup Expo yesterday. They're the real deal. Polite applause. Not overwhelming, but real. Mrs. Miller clapped. So did a few others. Noah's face was a portrait of confusion, rage, and disbelief. You set this up, he hissed, turning to me. You poisoned her. No, I said, cutting him off. You did this to yourself. I just stopped cleaning up your messes. And then I walked away. I left before the guests started filtering out, before the whispers, before my parents could spin it into another Liam-caused disaster. I didn't need to see their reaction. I already knew. Later that night, I got a text from Dad. You've made your point. I didn't reply. Mom followed with, you embarrassed the whole family. To that, I wrote back one line. No, I revealed the truth. You just didn't like the audience. Noah didn't message at all. But 3 days later, I got a PayPal request from him for $3,000, labeled Venue Refund Share. I declined it and blocked him. In the weeks that followed, everything changed. Chloe moved out of her parents' place and took a job in marketing at a startup I was designing for. We stayed friends, not romantic, but solid, real. My business doubled its revenue by the end of the summer. I bought my first office space that fall. As for my parents, they tried to call a few more times. I let them sit in voicemail. Because here's the truth, when you've spent your whole life being the quiet, reliable one, the moment you stop playing their game, it's louder than any outburst. Sometimes silence is the most deafening revenge of all, especially when it's paired with success. They used to say Noah had the vision, but in the end, I was the one they never saw coming. What would you have done?